So as I mentioned yesterday, as I mentioned earlier, unselected client scripts will never work on the form. Unselected client scripts will never work on the form. Unselected client scripts will work only on the list that I already mentioned. Okay, that is fine. Guys, unselected client scripts are not important topic. Unselected client scripts are not important topic because organizations won't allow employees to edit the records from the list. Organizations won't allow employees to edit the records from the list. Okay, remember this point. Employees won't be able to edit the records from the list. Organizations will allow employees to edit the records only from the form. That is why you don't get requirement to work on the unselected client scripts. Okay, unselected client scripts is not an important topic, but it is better to understand. Okay, well, I am creating one unchanged client script first. So here, if it is assigned to someone, application development group, in the application development group, it is assigned to one particular member. Okay. So whenever the assignment group is empty, the assigned to field should become empty. Whenever the assignment group field is empty, the assigned to field should become empty. Okay. So for that, I am writing an unchanged client script. Right click configure client scripts, unchanged client script. Assignment group. Whenever the assignment group is empty, hmm, whenever the assignment group is empty, if new value means selected value. You don't have to write this particular logic here. Here inside this if condition, you can write it. Okay, if the selected value is empty, b underscore form dot clear value assigned to. Okay. So whenever you make the assigned to value as empty, the assigned to is getting empty. Okay. So you write that logic using unchanged client script on the form. Unchanged client script won't work on the list. Unchanged client script won't work on the list. Okay. So let me just open the HR case here. I'm clicking on all cases. Let me just add just below the assignment group assigned to field on the list. So from the list, whenever I make here as assigned to as empty, whenever I make assigned to as empty, whenever I make assignment group as empty, the assigned to value should become empty from the list. So from the list, unchanged client script won't work, right? From the list, unchanged client script won't work, right? That is where you should go for unselected client script. So guys, this list is nothing but database. Remember, this list is nothing but a database. Okay. So this list is nothing but database. That means we have to clear the value in the database. We have to clear the value in the database. But here you don't have to clear the value in the database. When it comes to the form, whenever you make the assignment group as empty, assigned to is getting empty, but not in the database. Remember this point. Whenever you select, whenever the assignment group is empty, the assigned to is getting empty in the client. But here, whenever you make the assignment group as empty, the assigned to should become empty means we have to clear the value in the database. Okay. Getting my point. So for that, I am writing a unselected client script. Guys, in the unselected client script, we can actually make multiple assignment group value as empty. We can actually get multiple records from the list. Remember. Getting my point. So we can edit multiple records from the list. Let us say if I make 3 records assignment group as empty, means 3 records assigned to should become empty. Okay. So that is where I am writing unselected client script. Right click, configure. Sorry guys. Client scripts. I am creating a new client script here. That is actually unselected client script. Okay. So here, these parameters we already discussed. System IDs means how many records assignment group we are changing. Those many records system IDs, it will be stored here. Okay. Getting my point. So we have to clear the value in the database, right? We have to make assign to value is empty in the database, right? So that is where you have to use glide record. That is where you have to use glide record. Okay. So I'm going to use background script here. Okay. Sorry. U underscore HR underscore case. Which particular group system ID you want to make empty? Let me just open the list in a new tab. So which particular assign do you want to make empty? Let us take this particular record. Copy system ID. So multiple records are there, right? Then what we have to do is you have to use in. In means is one of. So if you see in the list, system ID is one of. Is one of. Is one of means in. So I am actually using in. Here you can pass comma separated system IDs. Okay. We have to use while loop here. As we have multiple records. So gr dot set value comma empty gr dot date. Okay. Where is updated is equal to false is updated is equal to true gs dot print is updated. You can say is updated true. You can see this particular record assignment group has become empty or not, we'll see. So this particular record assigned to is has become empty. You take this particular script out, write a glide ajax, or write a script include. Okay. Okay. So instead of this gs.print, use return here. Okay. This value should be dynamic. This dot star cases. Save this one. Okay. I'm using glide ajax here. Where GA is equal to new glide ajax. Guys, remember here, guide form will not work in the on-threaded client script because it is a list. Glide form will not work in the on-threaded client script. Okay. Script include name. This one. Glide form will not work right here. Glide form will not work in the unthreaded client script because glide form will work only on the form. Then I am using sysids. This parameter I am using here. Comma separated system IDs it will hold, right? DA dot XML answer here. Here HR case assigned to values. Okay. So here you will get the response. If response equal to true. Okay. We have to wait for 1 or 2 seconds. So let me just use set timeout method. So we can use this line of script set timeout. Okay, set timeout function will wait for 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, it will reload the list. To reload the list, we will use this dot window dot location dot reload. Okay, you can just save this form. Okay, so you go to the HR case form. So I am actually clearing these 3 field values, these 3 assignment groups as empty. Okay, list is refreshed and it has cleared out these 3 values, right? Whenever I make assignment group value as empty, the assigned to is getting empty or not from the list. So let me just assign it to someone. Okay. So whenever I make it as empty, or whenever I change the group, immediately the assigned to will become empty here. Getting my point? So let us say I am actually assigning it to some other group. Okay. I am actually assigning it to someone. Even when I change the group or when I actually make the assignment group as empty, even when I change the group or even when when I change the assignment group or even when I make assignment group as empty, the assigned to value will become empty. You understand? What did I do? I wrote an answered client script here, this one. In the answered client script, I have called the script include and I call this method. Inside this method, I am actually passing the system ID of the records, HR case records. Then here in the script include, we are actually calling HR case, where system ID is actually comma separated system IDs. You are looping through each record. You are actually clearing the each assigned to field value. And you are actually passing the status as updated true. So if you receive the response as true, and you are actually refreshing the form. You are refreshing the form. Getting my point? So that is actually one of the requirement that I have got, and then I have completed that requirement. Okay. So this list is nothing but database, guys, but we can still edit the list. This list is nothing but a database, but we can still edit the list. Okay. That is why we can write answered client script. So whenever you make the assignment group as empty, the assigned to value should become empty means the assigned to value should become empty in the database. When it comes to the form, when the assignment group is empty, assigned to will become empty, but not in the database. It will become only empty in the form. Okay. So that is how you will write a answered client script. Now let me give you a few more examples. Basuraj, I am unmuting you. You can ask your questions.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi Basuraj.
Actually, in the client script, we are sending all the system IDs of whatever the values we are changing, right? We are sending the multiple system IDs.
How many records assignment group we are changing? Those many record system IDs we are passing.
Okay. In the script include how it will.
In the script include,
how it will handle.
that is where I'm using in here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So comma separated system IDs you will get here.
Okay, okay. Comma separated system. Yeah, understood.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Fine. So now I will give you a few more examples so that you will be able to understand better. So whenever we are trying to change the short description from the list, let me add short description on the whenever you try to change the short description from the list, it should ask you to provide the confirmation. After confirmation only, we should allow them to edit the list. Okay. So when you are trying to change the short description, it should show a confirmation. So I am writing a answered client script on the short description field. Answered client script, short description. We have to show the confirm message. Okay, guys, we have alert message, confirm message, and prompt message. I am using confirm here. Where so in the confirmation there will be two buttons. Okay, cancel. Okay means true. Cancel means false. True. If true, this if condition will be executed. If false, else condition will be executed. So guys, in the on submit client script, return false means it will stop the form submission. Save and close false means it will stop the list submission. Save and close is equal to true means it will allow you to submit the list. Okay. So in the confirm, it will say okay, cancel. Okay means true. If it is true, you are actually allowing them to save. If it is false, you are actually not allowing them to save. Okay. I am trying to change the short description here. This is actually a confirmation. Okay, cancel. Okay means true. Cancel means false. If I click on okay, it will allow me to save. If I click on cancel means it won't allow me to save. Getting my point, right? Hmm? So answered client scripts are quite not important ones. So only just understand, have an understanding. Okay. In the answered client script, we can't use glide form. Okay. Guys, today I want to continue uh, till 9. What would you say? I have unmuted everyone. Hmm? Okay, we'll take a quick break and then we'll connect then. What do you say? Okay, I'm just passing the recording. So now we are going to discuss about UI policies topic. We are going to discuss about UI policies topic, guys. See, scripts will be executed in an order. Whenever you open the form, see, let us say you are opening the form, something like this one. Click on create new. Now you are opening the form. So you have opened the form. So when you open the form, scripts will be executed in an order. Scripts will not be executed randomly. Okay. First, default values will be populated. So first, dictionary properties will be executed. First, dictionary properties will be executed. Then client scripts will be executed. Then UI policies will be executed. Whenever you open the form, first dictionary properties will be executed. Then UI policies will be executed. Sorry, client scripts will be executed. Then UI policies will be executed. Suppose using dictionary property, you are making field mandatory. And using client script, you are making field non-mandatory. Finally, field will become non-mandatory. Okay, you are making field mandatory using dictionary property, and you are making field non-mandatory using client script means field will become non-mandatory finally. Okay. So after client scripts, UI policies will run. Suppose using UI policy, if you are making field mandatory, then the field will become mandatory. So here you are making field mandatory, you are making non-mandatory here, you are making mandatory here. Finally, the output will be mandatory. Okay. Scripts will be executed in an order. First, dictionary properties will be executed. Then client scripts will be executed. Then UI policies will be executed. UI policies run after the client scripts. Remember this point. Whenever I open this form, first dictionary properties will be executed. Then client scripts will be executed. Then UI policies will be executed. Okay. Using dictionary property, you are making field this field mandatory. Using client script, you are making this field non-mandatory. Then finally the field will become non-mandatory. Using UI policy, you are again making mandatory means it will become mandatory. Okay. Okay. If you remember, we did discuss one requirement. Whenever the state change to resolved, the resolution code and nodes should become mandatory. Do you remember that? We achieved that using on change client script. Let me just show you. Right click, configure client scripts. I think in the incident form I explained, I believe. Yeah. Make resolution code and nodes mandatory. Let me open this one. I think here using on change client script on the state field, whenever the state is resolved or closed, we are making these two fields mandatory. We are making these two fields non-mandatory when the state is not resolved or not closed. Okay. Same requirement without using script. I am going to achieve it using UI policy. Okay. UI policies are used to make field mandatory, read only, display the fields and related lists at certain condition in the client side. Okay, UI policies are used to make field mandatory, read only, display the fields and related lists at certain condition in the client side. Okay. Then we will use UI policies. UI policies run after the client scripts. UI policies are used to make field mandatory, read only, display the fields and related lists at certain condition in the client side. UI policies are client side. Okay. So whatever the requirement that we are able to achieve it using client script, same requirement I am going to achieve it using UI policy. Right click, configure, go to UI policies. Okay. Make assignment group. Sorry. Resolution code and nodes mandatory. When the state is resolved. Okay. I'm unchecking these checkboxes. We'll come to these checkboxes later. When the state is resolved or when the state is one of resolved or closed. I'm just creating a UI policy. So here in the UI policy, you have UI policy actions. Go to this one. Resolution code. Mandatory true. If you are not touching other properties, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Okay. Mandatory true. Okay. Go to the form now. Whenever I change the state to resolved or closed, resolved, the fields are getting mandatory. So when the state is not resolved or not closed, it should become non-mandatory, right? It is changed to new state. So it is still in the mandatory phase. It should become non-mandatory. It should become non-mandatory. When the state is not resolved, not closed, the field should become non-mandatory. Okay. So in that case, in the UI policy, there is a reverse if false checkbox. So if you check this checkbox, what happens? If the condition is not met, the changes will be reverted. It is like a else part. So here we wrote if else, right? This is like a else part. If the condition is not met, reverse the changes. Reverse if false. The UI policy is reverse if false is key role. If the condition is met, these changes will be applied. If the condition is not met, changes will be reversed. I am checking this checkbox. So I am going to refresh the form now. I change the state to resolved. When I change the state to resolved, the resolution code and notes are getting mandatory. When I change the state to not resolved or not closed, it should become non-mandatory. Is it getting non-mandatory? Okay. So here, if the state is resolved, now I change the state to resolved. Now I change the state to resolved. These fields are mandatory. These fields are mandatory. Here, if you see, now the state is resolved, fields are still non-mandatory. That means on the form load also UI policy should work. So here in the UI policy, there is a checkbox called onload checkbox. If the UI policy should also work on the form load means you will check the onload checkbox. You will check the onload checkbox if the UI policy should work on the form load. Okay. If the UI policy should work on the form load, you have to check the UI onload checkbox. So now I am just refreshing the form. On the form load, state is resolved, right? On the form load, state is resolved. And these fields are actually now mandatory. The UI policy should work on the form load as well means you have to checkbox. It is like a ease loading property. Okay. What is that? So we open the client script, right? So like you have ease loading here. Like you have ease loading here. Okay. So here in the UI policy, there is a checkbox called onload. Onload means the UI policy should work on the form load means you will check this checkbox. You will check this checkbox. If this checkbox is checked, the UI policy will work on onload. Well, we created child tables as well. Do you remember? We created child tables. If the UI policy should work on child tables as well, if the UI policy should work on child tables as well, you have to check this inherit checkbox. Tables that extend the specified table inherit this UI policy. Okay. So well here reverse if false. If the condition is not met, if the condition is not met, it will reverse the changes. Onload. If the UI policy should work on the form load means you will check this checkbox. If the UI policy should work on child tables, you will check this checkbox. Now we'll come to the global checkbox here. Global checkbox. So global checkbox means in the form we created views, right? In the form, we created views. If the UI policy should work on, all views, this global checkbox must be checked. You can see if selected, the UI policy applies to all form views. If this global checkbox is checked, the UI policy will work on all form views. Okay. So if this checkbox is unchecked, you have to specify the specific view so that it will work on only specific view. I'm actually selecting HR here, ITIL here, so that the UI policy will work only on the ITIL view. If this checkbox is checked, it will work on all the views. If this checkbox is checked, it will work on all the views. If this checkbox is not checked, you have to specify the specific view so that UI policy will work on only particular view. Getting my point, right? The UI policy work on particular view. What if I have to make this logic work on two views? You have to create two UI policies and you have to select another view. Getting my point? If you have to apply this UI policies on two views, you have to create another UI policy and you have to select that view. Getting my point? This global checkbox, this checkbox is checked means it will work on all the views. If it is unchecked, you have to make it to a specific view. And here reverse if false. Reverse if false means if the condition is not met, it will reverse the changes. In this case, it will make the fields non-mandatory. And if the UI policy should work on form load, you will check the onload checkbox. The UI policy should work on the child tables as well. You will select the inherit checkbox. Okay, I am making it to global. Now you go to the form, refresh the form. Now the state is changed to. Now the state is already resolved. On the form load, the UI policy will work, right? It will make these fields mandatory. Now I am changing it to in progress. I change it to in progress, the fields has become non-mandatory. Okay. You understand, right, how the UI policy components are actually working? Okay. I have another requirement. So in the form, you have a field called on hold reason field. I created this field. You can also create this field. Whenever the state is changed to on hold, this field should appear and should become mandatory. Whenever I select on hold, this field should appear and should become mandatory. So this requirement, we can also achieve it using on change client script as well. We can also achieve it using UI policy as well. Previous requirement also, we were able to achieve it using on change client script also. We are able to achieve it using UI policy also. Which one is good practice? UI policies are good practice because UI policies will run after the client scripts. UI policies run after the client scripts. That too, UI policies doesn't use scripting. So you have to give this proper answer. UI policies run after the client scripts and UI policies doesn't need scripting. That is why we will go for UI policies. Okay. So I am creating another UI policy. Whenever the state is changed to on hold, this field will appear and will become mandatory. Whenever the state is not on hold, this field will disappear and will become non-mandatory. When the state is on hold, Okay. On hold reason field you have to select here. On hold reason field should become mandatory, should appear. This visible means appearing. Okay. Submit this one. So whenever the state is selected as on hold, the condition you wrote here, this field will appear and become mandatory. So if the state is not on hold, this reverse if false will work and it will become non-mandatory and the field will be hidden. Refresh the form now. Now I changed the state to on hold. The field is appearing and getting mandatory. If the state is not on hold, the field is disappearing and getting non-mandatory. This requirement you can also achieve it using on-change client script as well. But UA policy is a good practice because UA policies will run after the client scripts and it doesn't require scripting. Okay, fine. And we will discuss one more requirement. Whenever the category value and subcategory value both are not empty, the service field should become read only. The service field should become read only. So for that, I am actually creating another UI policy. Right click, configure UI policies. When category is not none and subcategory is not none, okay, we have to make a service field read only. So here read only true. Now go to the form and refresh this one. Now the category is not empty and subcategory is not none. The service field has become read only or not. The same requirement you can also achieve it using on-change client script as well, but it is not good practice to use on-change client script if you are able to achieve it using UI policy, because UI policies will run after the client scripts as well as UI policies doesn't require scripting. Okay. And here, guys, here we can add related lists. Related list means, I'll show you how exactly the related list look like. Okay, if I open any incident, if I scroll down, so these are actually related lists. These are actually related lists. Okay. So these are actually sections, guys. These are sections, sections. These are actually related lists. What are these related lists? That particular HR case record, if any associated records. To that particular HR case record, if any associated records will be shown in the related list. Let me add some related lists here. Right click, configure, go to related lists. So there are actually 4 related lists. Let me add these related lists to the form. So I added the related list on the form using right click, configure, related lists. Okay. You can see related lists here. So if you want to hide these related lists as well, you can use UI policy. Whenever the category and subcategory are not empty, I want to hide these related list as well. Then I'll go to the UI policy. In the UI policy, here you can see UI policy related list action. Here you just click on new here. Select the goal relationships and false. Okay. So now you can see category is not none. Subcategory is not none. Field has become read only. Related list is hidden here. There were 4. Now it is showing only 3. Likewise, you can hide the related lists as well using UI policy. Using UI policy, you can make field mandatory. See, guys, when somebody asks you what is UI policy, UI policies run after the client scripts. UI policies are used to make field mandatory, read only, display the fields and related lists at certain condition in the client side. You will use UI policies. Okay. You are clear, right? Hmm? In the UI policy, you can also write the script as well. There is a script tab here. Okay, there is a script tab here. You have to check this checkbox. If you check this checkbox, you have to select UI type as all here. Here, if the condition is met, whatever you write here will be executed. If the condition is met, whatever the script that you write will be executed. If the condition is not met, whatever is in the else part will be executed. You can write JavaScript, glide user, glide form, glide ajax, everything here. Okay. Getting my point. So if the condition is met, whatever you write in the execute if true will be executed. If the condition is false, whatever is there in the executive false will be executed. Here you can use glide user, glide form, glide ajax, everything. You can write JavaScript here. Whatever the script that we write in the on change client script, same script also you can write it here. Okay. Getting my point. Whenever the state is set as resolved or closed, we are making resolution code and notes are mandatory, right? So instead of using UI policy actions, okay, and here what you can do is you can write the script g underscore form dot set mandatory resolution code comma true, g underscore form dot set mandatory resolution notes comma true. Here in the executive false means g underscore form dot set mandatory resolution code comma false, g underscore form dot set mandatory resolution notes comma false. Getting my point? So you can also use this UI policy. In the UI policy also you can write the script. So what we need to understand here is after form is loaded, first dictionary properties will be loaded, then UI policies will be loaded, then client scripts will be loaded, then UI policies will be loaded. UI policies are used to make the fields mandatory read only and display the fields and related lists at certain condition in the client side. Okay. That is what actually about UI policies, guys. I would request you to practice whatever the requirements I told you, as well as in the incident form. There are so many UI policies. In the incident form, there are so many UI policies. In the problem form, there are so many UI policies. In the change form, there are so many UI policies. In the user form, you have so many UI policies. In the knowledge form, we have UI policies. In the incident form, we have client scripts. So in the incident form, we have client scripts. Explore what is already there in ServiceNow. So in the in the incident form, there are so many UI policies. Explore them. What exactly they are doing. In the problem form, there are so many UI policies. Explore them. In the change form, there are so many UI policies. Explore them. In the knowledge form, there are so many UI policies. Explore them. In the incident form, there are so many client scripts. Explore them. See, explore what is already there in ServiceNow so that you will become a professional. See, there are so many client scripts on the incident form. So which I did not create. ServiceNow provided client scripts. Okay. So you guys are clear with the UI policies topic? I have unmuted everyone. You can ask your questions, guys. Everyone.
Uday, so one question is, in the case like if any requirement came on form side, so first we can think of the UI policy, right?
Yes,
First thing.
if that is not feasible using UI policy, then we should go for client scripts.
Client script. Okay. And then one more thing, that related list, na? So that related list for a form, it will be automatically will come, or we can add like we can customize those related list also. Like we can add more and we can delete existing. We can do that, right?
Which one?
For a like particular form, some now for this HR1 we added, right, 4 related list, right? So those already available, right? So we just shown here below bottom, right? So this related list already there on the already existing, right? So this was automatic, or like we can customize this also, like
we can customize these as well. We can create a custom related list as well. That's a separate topic.
Okay. But default, like if any link between those, like this related list tables and this form table, then automatically it will appear, right? Like?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're understanding the concepts clearly?
Yes. So it's yeah.
So you're getting the confidence that you will become a ServiceNow professional.